Hi everybody, I'm Saki, and welcome to Leave the Review, Take the Cannoli. This is a shitty movie review show. We need you to get on Tony's level. First off, have 3 beers before you start. Then remember, every time Tony swears, take a drink. Every time Joe swears, take 2 drinks. Every time Tony rolls his eyes or looks bored, that's a drink. Every time Joe talks over Tony, another drink. Every time Tony talks over Joe, 2 drinks. Every time a dog pops into a shot, that's a drink. Every time you see a giant pussy, 2 drinks. If Tony yells at Joe, you waterfall that bitch and get another. Remember, if you drink wine, you're not classy, you're just drinking a little cheaper. And if you're drinking hard liquor, I kinda sorta hope this kills you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Welcome back to Leave the Review, Take the Cannoli, Zombie Edition. We're going to do our final zombie movie tonight. And Tony, what is the zombie movie?
I actually have a movie called Frozen Ground. Josh, I almost want to ask you to go into my bathroom and find the DVD. Oh God, he is. Don't pee. Just give me the DVD.
You store your movies in the bathroom?
Well, because everything in my bathroom is cooled. And that's what I have going for me. I have Frozen Ground. Tell me it's Frozen Ground. It's the top of the movies in there that's not porn.
None of these are porn. Yeah, Dead Snow.
I have a movie called Dead Snow.
Frozen Grass sounds like a Steven Seagal
Or
movie.
Cannibal Holocaust.
I'm doing that next week, by the way, asshole. I have okay, so I have, what's it called? Dead Snow?
Dead Snow.
This is going to be a real winner, folks. He doesn't know the name of the movie.
Dead Snow's a movie about... It's about zombie Nazis coming back in roughly current time and eating people. Is it not Frozen Ground?
How can we take this?
I don't know!
How do you take these movies seriously?
Your definition and my definition seriously is 2 different things.
Well, it's even how you describe them.
Oh yeah, here's what I'll say. This is a Swedish film. First off, we're doing the foreign realm of things. Finding foreign movies in this area is not easy, but...
I'll give you that.
Yeah, God damn it, I'm gonna do it. Because I'm reviewing Troll Hunter. I don't care if it's a fantasy. I'm reviewing it. I know. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. But when it comes through and through, what's it called? Frozen Ground?
Dead Snow. Dead Snow.
Frozen Ground is a newer movie.
Here's what it comes through and through. If I could review this as 2 different movies, I really could. I could review it as a horror film and say, well, this movie sucked. I could review this as a comedy and go, okay, I kind of liked it. It's Swedish, first off, which is cool because the Swedes just don't matter. They're like Canada. No, they're still a step above Canada. They don't matter. It's interesting because it's like
they have all our bank accounts.
I know. We're Italian, dude.
All your bank accounts.
Yeah, we're Italian. We're
all
gay
your
men. We're gay men. No, it's interesting to watch it because if you watch it subtitled, you're like, I'm reading. They're like, yeah, man, I know what. And you're like, oh,
yeah, man.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, just watch the fucking movie. And you're like, oh, I know what they're talking about. And you're like, oh no, wait, no, I don't. And then they're all like, Ixman, Ivan, Berliner. You're like, I'm so not a donut. So I mean, it's kind of interesting to actually watch. This is a story of, it starts off with this girl's like, I'm running, jumping, climbing trees. And these zombie Nazis are like, no, you're not. And they, it just like runs really quickly through the screen. And then it cuts to her friend.
Do the zombie Nazis only eat Jewish people?
That is the greatest joke you're ever going to make on this show. Yes. That's yes.
I mean, if that does not happen, what's the point of calling them Nazis? Zombie Nazis.
Best joke you're ever going to talk. Bless you. By the way. But, best. Oh my. Wait,
that's what Ashley.
Oh, that's
knocks that one over.
Yeah, she spelled that. Yeah, because every once in a while you have a girl over while you film and she spills a beer and commits a party foul. Can't be fair. Just keep your hat on. I know it's cold over here, so keep your hat on. Your ears are gonna fucking fall off.
Please, Tony, Tell us more.
What of what? Her
Dead snow.
What dead snow? What the hell?
Frozen ground. Whatever
Frozen
you wanna-
ground.
Whatever you want to
That's
call
what
it.
we're talking about.
Just throw it at him.
I'll throw it.
Well, this is like, you know that scene in E.T. where he's like, she's a fucking beer. Anyway, no, this is Frozen Ground.
Dead snow.
Dead snow. So I talked about the one bitch that got, butchered. And then her friends are gonna meet her at this cabin, because that's always a good idea. And her family's like, I've owned this cabin for years, and it's like, okay, cool. And so they go there, and they're like, hey, we're here, and yada yada. And they're like, this one guy shows up, he knocks on this door. And I think living in Bettendorf, I've had this happen, where you're just chilling, and some guy knocks on your door. He's like, can I have a cup of coffee? And you're like, yeah, of course you can have a cup of coffee. Now in Bettendorf, the guy's then like, okay, here's a check for 10 grand, thank you. I really appreciate you giving me this cup of coffee. And then he gets in the Rolls Royce and he goes home. And that's what happens in Bettendorf. Now, apparently in Sweden, the guy's like, can I have a cup of coffee? You're like, well, yeah, fuck, come on in, have a cup of coffee. He's like, okay, cool, you're all gonna be butchered tonight. And you're like, I'm not gonna be butchered. And he's like, no, because Nazi zombies are here and they're gonna eat you. And he's like, you're like, what do you mean? And like, he goes, well, these Nazi zombies they were fucking bad people.
Bad people.
Bad people. And they did like tortures and experiments. Because I was like, hey, I didn't know the Nazis were that bad. But apparently the Nazis are really bad people. So he's like, hey, they did these things. And the townsfolk are like, we're going to kill them. And they're like, well, we're going to run up in the hills. And he's like, you can't run up the hills. And they're like, well, we're going to run up here anyway. And then they built tunnels in the snow. And they stole these like golden jewels. And they're like, fuck. Well, that just kills our entire theory. So the Nazis were like, we're going to live up here. And the people were like, well, fine, live up there and you'll freeze to death. They're like, no, because we're zombies. Snap, snap, snap.
Wait, these zombies talked?
Actually, later, yeah. And I'm not saying this was a good movie.
Oh, I'm not even...
Okay. So they did this thing and yada yada, etc. So these people have this cabin and they're like, oh my god, we found this box underground. And why did we find it? Because we were reaching for a beer, which only good things happen when you reach for beer.
As we found out at the beginning of all this madness.
Where did that start? So they find this beer and they're like, wait, this is a box. And they're like, oh my god, it has golden jewels. The Nazis are like, well, fuck, we need that. So they rip this guy's brains out after he gets laid in the bathroom. Good for him. They have outhouses in Sweden, by the way. So this, that, the other thing, yada yada, blah, blah, blah. The only cool scenes are like the one guy who looks suspectably like Jared Leto. I'm just assuming it's Jared Leto. If it's not, just assuming it is. He kills one zombie, he kills another zombie, and this other zombie's like, what's up, bitch? And he's like, let's go. And he kills that zombie, but not really, and he gets injured, and yada yada, and later gets ripped apart, yada boom. It's all fucking stupid, okay? But it's entertaining. It's not subtitled, because there's like a 45-minute section where there's no dialogue said other than,
Oh, good.
ah! Stop yawning. So, Garrison, this one guy's all like, oh my god, I got bit on the arm. I'm gonna be a zombie. The other guy's like, you're not gonna be a zombie. He's like, I'll be a zombie. No, you won't. Yes, I will. No, you won't. Yes, I will. I'm gonna use this chainsaw. And he cuts off his arm. And then he cauterizes it on a random fire that he makes. He's like, I'm good. Then he gets bit on the nuts. He's like, well, I'm not cutting my nuts off. They're like, no, you shouldn't cut your nuts off. I won't cut my nuts off. So eventually everyone dies. And he runs to his car. And he dies because he chooses to take the time to put his fucking seatbelt on. If you're ever in a situation where you have fought off a zombie apocalypse, don't get moving before you put your fucking seatbelt on. That's all I ask. The problem is, if I'm going to rate this movie, you're not going to rate it because you haven't seen it. If I'm going to rate this movie, if it's a horror movie, I'm giving it 1.5 stubbies, and I'm being exceptionally fucking generous. I could easily give this a half a stubby and feel okay. If I'm rating this as a comedy, which I'm assuming it is, I'm assuming it's a drinking game comedy. I'm gonna give it 2.5, almost borderline 3. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. If you
Give it 4.
Nah. If you're getting, I'll tell you what. Write me on this. If you're getting blown and watching this movie, I'll give it 3. That's where I need one review saying I get a blowjob while watching. Was it Frozen Ground?
Fucking Dead Snow.
If I get one review saying I watched Dead Snow while getting a blowjob, I'll give it 3. Otherwise, it's 2.5, and I'm being exceptionally generous for this. Do you need to watch it? Oh God, no. Is it absolutely entertaining to watch? It's nothing more than it's worth a go, and it's a zombie movie that has no tits. So frankly, check it out because you're really fucking bored, and that's it. Check it out on the Sci-Fi Channel. That's it. All right, that's all I got for you, dude. That's it. Is this my last review?
I think so.
For the love of God, Joe, go home. Peace out, Girl Scout.